Welcome to the 61st and Division Church of Christ. Meet our members interview, where we get to know just a little bit about our brothers and sisters serving in our congregation. This month, we are lucky to be featuring Brother Woodfin Roberts, affectionately known to us as Brother Woody. Welcome, Brother Woody. Thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'll start with the questions and just relax and enjoy yourself.
Okay.
So, first of all, can you introduce us to baby Woodfin? Who were his parents and where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Born July 26, 1939 to William and Hattie Robertson in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, that's close by. So were there any siblings in your Woodfin's
I
life?
have 4 sisters and 4 brothers.
Wow.
And I'm number 6 of 9.
So what were your aspirations in school, or what were you good at? What did you excel in?
My aspirations at one time was to be a Church of Christ minister.
And how old were you when you had that aspiration?
I was between the age of from 9 through 15. It was really my aspiration to be a Church of Christ minister. But when I graduated from high school, I looked around, I seen some things that was happening at my hometown, and I said, no, preaching is not for me.
Can you remember your baptism and the way it made you feel?
I was baptized in 1952 at 1101 West Conroe, Phoenix, Arizona. The minister was Brother Cotry Moore.
Wow.
And I felt great.
What led you to get baptized?
Huh?
What led you to get baptized?
I was interested in the Bible and interested in doing what I thought what the good Lord said do.
Mm-hmm.
So you were pretty tight in your faith. You were,
Huh?
as a kid, you were pretty tight in your faith.
As a kid, every time the church doors would open, my mom and dad was there.
Oh, that's excellent.
And after I graduated from high school, now don't laugh too hard, people. I told my mom that it was 2 things I was never going to do once I got out of her house, and that was go to school and go to church.
You weren't going to do those, huh? Why were you? What made you not want to do that anymore?
Because she insisted on every time. Really, truly, I got tired of going to church. Every
Okay.
time the church door was open, I was there, and not on my own will.
Okay.
And my mom says, as long as I was in her house, I will go to church.
Okay.
And how do you feel about that today?
Well,
That advice.
let me tell you what I said to my mom. I said to her, Mom, there's 2 things that I will never do once I get out of your house, and that's go to school and go to church. Well, when I was in the Navy, right here in San Diego, I was attended. After I had retired from the Navy, I rushed home, getting my kids ready to settle down for the evening, so I could go to school. My mom and dad was over visiting me at the time, and I'm in my room shaving. My mom knocked on the door. She says, "Are you presentable?" I said, "Yes." She opened the door. She said, "Son, where you going?" I said, "Oh, I'm taking a couple of classes at Quidmaker College. She says, okay. Sunday morning, I'm up, rushing around, getting everybody situated to go to getting them ready to go to church. My mom knocked on my bedroom door again. She said, son, what are you doing? I said, Mom, I'm getting ready to go to church. She come up to me and she says, she put her arms around me. She says, Woodfin Roberts, this is not 2916 East Broadway. And I said to her, Mom, what are you talking about? She says, that little word never have just made a liar out of you because you told me, you made it very clear to me it was two things you were never going to do, and that was go to school and go to church. And lo and behold, I see you are doing both.
And thank God for that.
And thank God for that.
You mentioned your naval career, but did you do anything before your naval career to make a living?
I worked in a department store as a salesperson and decided that wasn't for me either.
Why?
Why? I just had other things to do.
But you graduated from high school.
I graduated from high school
What
in
year?
1959.
Okay. And what did you want to do? What did you think you wanted to do it when you?
Besides the preacher?
Well, when you graduated from high school.
Run around and drink all the booze that I could find.
So you really didn't have an aspiration or anything.
Truly, I had no idea what I really
Right.
wanted to do.
But you had passing grades.
Oh yes, I was always a C or a B student.
Okay, so and college wasn't in your mind.
College was out.
All right, so how did you come to get into the Navy?
Well, I had moved down to Tucson with my older brother, and my mom, I called my mom, because I usually call my mom every other day. I called my mom and she told me, she said, son, you need to come home. So I lived in my little 1952
Where were you?
Huh?
Where were you then when you?
Where was I?
Yeah.
I was down in Tucson, Arizona, living with one of my older brothers.
Okay, and your mom's house.
My mom's was in Phoenix, in Phoenix.
How far a distance is it?
132 miles.
Okay.
I lived in my little 1952 Power Glide Chevy. I head to Phoenix. I get to my mom's house. First thing she do, she hand me a manila envelope that says greetings. So I opened it up. They gave me an induction physical date. So I go to the induction physical. About midway through the induction physical, this little person come out, counted off about 15 of us, told us to come go with him. We went into this little dark, dingy, smoke-filled room, and the next thing that was said was, welcome to the United States Navy. Be prepared to travel at 0600 tomorrow morning.
Wow. 1 day notice.
1 day notice.
All right,
Wow.
so they didn't have the lottery then, right?
No, that was the draft.
That was the draft. Yeah. So they instituted the lottery years later. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay.
And that's how I got in the Navy.
Yeah.
He's lucky in that respect because of his intelligence. He got picked for the Navy. Other guys that wasn't so lucky would get drafted to the Army or some other service where their scores weren't as high.
Right.
So they saw something in your nugget, so that was good.
Well, when I was in high school, I took some aviation classes.
See?
So what do you think your grade point average was when you graduated high school?
About between a 2.5 and a 3.0.
Okay, so you C plus B student. Okay. All right. It seems like your mom was a real big influence on you.
My mom was a big influence on me.
Okay, your mom and
I'm gonna get to that here in a few minutes.
Okay, so you're gonna have to tell us what your mom's name was.
My mom's name was Hattie B. Robertson.
Oh, Hattie. My second mom's name was Hattie. All right.
So, Sister Roberts was a member of this congregation, and she made quite an impact on this congregation, and we all loved her very much. But can you tell us how you and Sister Roberts met?
I will be glad to tell you. Well, I met Sister Roberts in 1959. I was a senior in high school. She was a freshman. So she was a good friend of one of my younger sisters, Maxine. So I had asked Maxine to put a good word in for me. And of course, Sister Roberts declined.
And would that be Sister Maxine Lynch?
No. That's it. That my younger sister, Maxine was one of my younger sisters.
Oh, okay.
And Sister Roberts says some things that maybe I shouldn't say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. That maybe all your brother wants to do is just mess up a young lady's life. So that was in 1959. And how old was I then?
Mm-hmm.
I graduated from high school when I was 19 years old.
Okay. So.
And I went in the Navy. I went in the Navy in 1962. And 1966, I was on the Franklin D. Roosevelt, an aircraft carrier. I get a letter from my mom saying that Sister Roberts says be sure and come by and see her when I come home. And of course, Woody's mind started wandering. Well, Woody came home, and I was taking my mom to Bible class that Wednesday night. And at that time, Sister Roberts' mom owned a gas station right there on the corner of 28th and Broadway, and we had to pass it. So my mom, as we passed her mom's gas station, she says, "There's Geneva there." I said, "Do we have time to speak to stop by and at least speak?" She said, "Yeah." So I turned the car around, went back and chatted a few seconds, and she invited me over to her cousin's house that lived right around the corner. So after Bible class, I took my mom home and convinced my dad to let me use his car to go to her house. I went over to Sister Roberts' house, stayed for maybe an hour, hour and a half, nothing romantic, nope. They're just having friendly chats. And from that time on, I was at home for 38 days. Every time she would go somewhere, now listen at this, that she would say, she would call me. She wouldn't say, "Would you like to go?" She said, "I am coming to get you." So
She knew you were a wayward fellow.
When I left Phoenix, going back to Jacksonville, Florida. I went back aboard the Franklin D. Roosevelt, went on a Mediterranean cruise, and we were communicating. And in January of 1968, I get a set of orders from Washington telling me I was coming to San Diego. I didn't bother to tell nobody that I was coming to San Diego. So I get I get home the latter part of June. I stopped on my way to San Diego. I stopped in Phoenix
This is in 62?
for another 30
This
days.
is in 62.
And, no, 68.
Okay.
1968, coming to San Diego. So I had it the very next day. I asked my dad to take me out to buy a car because I'm going to drive from Phoenix to San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
So Dad took me out to buy a car, and I bought what I thought at that time was the prettiest car I ever seen in my life. It was a 1964 Buick Wildcat, pink and white.
Pink and white.
I loved that car. I bought that car, and when I left the car lot, my next order of business was to Sister Robertson's house, and that's when I made the proposal and she accepted.
Huh.
Okay, so
And so how long had you guys been dating by that time?
We wasn't dating, we was just friends.
How long had you guys been friends by that time? Since 59?
Since, well, she was a friend of my sister, and when I went in the Navy, I forgot all about her.
Yeah, but you guys at first met in 59, and so from there.
Well, I met her in 59.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
as far as being friends of mine in 59, she was having no parts of that.
okay, so you mentioned proposal, but when did you know that Sister Roberts was the one for you, though?
I knew in 59, but she was having no parts of it.
What about it made you realize that she's the one for you, though? What hit you that said, "Hey, I need to marry this woman"?
Her demeanor and her intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
She was always a no nonsense person,
Mm-hmm.
and she was always a no nonsense person.
Okay, and teach us, how did you propose? Teach us something.
I just said, "Would you marry me?"
Ah, that was it.
That was it. And she said yes.
It was a caddy.
Yeah. So I came on to San Diego. Wait a minute, I think I'm leaving something out. I came on to San Diego. She came over here. Now, we got married on her birthday, January 31, 1969. And we were married 51 years before the good Lord took her home.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And I'm missing something. I'm leaving something. Oh, and if you didn't know her educational level, you would never know it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tell us a little bit about it.
she was, when we first come over here, she got a job as she already had her BA in speech and drama. And she got a job as a Head Start program secretary. And so one evening she came home, she said to me, "Woody, one of these days I am going to direct that program." So I laughed. So she got enrolled in the child development program at San Diego State. Got her master's in early child development, and got enrolled in Nova University's doctoral program. And one Saturday a month, me and my two children would leave San Diego at 4:30 in the morning, driving up to Pacific Oaks College there in Pasadena. But she had to be at school by 8 o'clock. While she was in school, me and the kids would run around Pasadena all day. 5 o'clock that evening, we'd go back to the school. She'd pick her up. We'd head back down south to San Diego. We did that for 4 long years. And many nights, we'd get a babysitter when she was working on her doctorate. We'd get a babysitter, and away me and her would go to San Diego State to do some research. When she got the word that she was Dr. Roberts, she had the nerve enough to tell me that the graduation was down at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She had the nerve enough to tell me that we couldn't afford to go down there. And I just kind of spread my wings a little bit this time. I said, lady, I don't know about you, but me and my 2 kids are going to be in Fort Lauderdale to see somebody walk across that stage. It might not be you, but we're going to be there.
You mentioned the children. How many children and grandchildren are there?
2 children, two grandchildren, and 1 great-grandson.
Okay. So,
And Sister Roberts, after she got her doctorate, her lifelong ambition was to go back, to go to law school and get a law degree with its emphasis in children's rights.
wow.
With an emphasis in what?
In children's rights?
Oh, children, okay.
She was a smart lady, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
So, Brother Roberts, what advice can you share with us about marriage and kids, given all your
Marriage
experience?
and kids. First of all, when you get married, this bit of going out with the boys or the girls is out. You didn't marry the boys or the girls. You married your spouse. And you go out with her. My advice is, after 51 years of it, if some of us egotistical men would listen to not everything that our wives have to say, but some of the things that our wives have to say, we wouldn't be in the predicament that we're in now. And be sure and put that in there. Don't edit that out.
If you could tell us one good thing about Sister Roberts, besides her education, what would it be?
She was a devoted wife, a devoted Christian, a devoted mother, a devoted grandmother, and she loved all of her grandkids, and she would do anything for you as long as it was respectable and constructive.
That's beautiful.
We were married 51 long, lovely years. And yes, I do get teared up every time I talk about her. For me, she was one beautiful woman in all respects.
How has the pandemic changed your daily routine?
The pandemic on February 20th, February 20th, 2020, my whole life changed. That's the day. That's the day the good Lord called her home. And yes, I do get teared up every time I talk about it. But the pandemic have really made a change in my life. First of all, I don't have my soul paid anymore. But I do have my children, and I do have my son and his wife, and I do have Judith with me at all times. Now, all of them, all three of them, I call, very affectionately, I call Judith is my office manager. My son's wife, Deborah, is my secretary, and my son is my chief liaison officer.
Now Judith is your niece, right?
Judith is my niece, yes. And Judith, if I don't call Judith at least twice every day before 3 o'clock, no, she won't call. Judith will be at my house about 4:30. And my son and his wife, I just love them. They really takes care of me, and that my son couldn't have found a better wife.
She had a strong extended family.
My son, my daughter-in-law is more like a daughter to me than she is a daughter-in-law. And she have so many characteristics that my dear wife had.
Brother Roberts, if you could leave the world with one piece of wisdom, what would that be?
Listen to your wife. And stay in school, never quit learning.
That's excellent. That's excellent advice. Woody, we'd like to thank you for sitting down with us, letting us into your life, sharing your wonderful memories with us about Geneva. And we thank you for your service. And we thank you for being a dedicated member to the house of the Lord, especially here at 61st and Division Church of Christ. Hang in there, brother, and we love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.